Hey everybody, it's Jay Kitchen from jaysbeard.com. I hope you're doing well today. We're doing a cooking video today, a little bit different for us, but I really like to make this macaroni and cheese and wanted to share it with everybody so that they can take a shot at it. I got this recipe from the New York Times, and it's called Southern Macaroni and Cheese. I think the only reason it's called Southern is because the person who created or developed or refined the recipe was a woman named Millie Peartree, and I believe she's from the southern part of the United States. I've done a lot of the prep already, so I don't have to bore you with it, but you need the following ingredients. You need a pound of elbow macaroni, which you boil, and what I do with the macaroni is I will cook it the day before or even 2 days before I'm actually going to prepare the dish so it can cool off in the refrigerator or wherever. You see we have our pound of macaroni all cooked and ready to go. It's been sitting in the refrigerator for a minute. The recipe calls for 2 cups of whole milk. I'm really lactose intolerant. So even the cheese is a bit of an issue for me with the mac and cheese, but this is as much for company as it is for my household. So that doesn't really bother me that much, but I do stay away from the whole milk. You can substitute any kind of milk substitute. I use oat milk these days, so that's what we're going to use. 2 cups of that. You need 2 large eggs. The recipe calls for extra sharp cheddar cheese, but you can use really any cheese that you like. And what we used for a change, we used some smoked Gouda cheese for this particular recipe today. Now the recipe calls for 4 cups of shredded extra sharp cheddar cheese, about 16 ounces. You can really use any cheese, and this recipe calls for 2 separate cheeses. We use some Irish Gold, I think it's called, cheddar that we got up at Costco. You can get a big brick of it for not a lot of money. And we shredded it with our grater. And we, again, prep this the day before, put it in the refrigerator, set it aside. So it really cuts down on the actual time that you make the mac and cheese, the prep time if you do it before. I mean, most of you chefs know what I'm talking about. You need a half a cup of butter melted, and then 2 cups of Colby Jack, or again, any other cheese of your choice. What we use today is some smoked Gouda, or Gouda, as our friend Mara would say, living in the Netherlands for so long. The smoked Gouda is going to give it a very different kind of flavor when it's finished. You can almost smell the smoke coming off of the cheese. It's really very interesting and very different. So before you really start mixing everything, you have to preheat your oven to 350. Be sure you have a Pyrex baking pan. This is the extra deep one. You can get them a little bit shorter, but this one works perfectly. You can actually buy these at most grocery stores if it's a decent one like a Fred Meyer's or a Safeway, anything like that. In a large bowl like this, you're going to whisk together the milk and eggs, and then you're going to add the cooked macaroni, 2 cups of cheddar, the melted butter, a tablespoon and a half of salt, and a half a teaspoon of pepper, if that's what you like. Now, we don't usually use a lot of salt or pepper in this household just because of... So you stir it until it's well combined. Here's the oat milk. Shake it up a little bit. Get 2 cups. There we go. One egg. Compost that. Another egg. Gonna mash that egg, stir it around a bit. Now this is the point where you can put in your mac and cheese. We're going to add the cooked macaroni. Now when we put this to cool off, we usually put some olive oil on there so it keeps it from really clumping together in an unbreakable knot. It will clump together, but you can separate it pretty easily with your spatula. Then we're going to put in 2 cups of the cheddar. This is sort of a by eye thing because it's in a 4-cup measure. And then you pour in the melted butter. I do it like this because the cheese is usually not so cold to make the butter hard, unlike the pasta. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put half of this into the Pyrex dish. Okay, that's about half. Maybe a little less. You see, we've got this cheese stuck to the spatula. Spread this out evenly. Then we're going to put in the smoked cheese, about 1.5 cups of this. So almost all, but not quite. And you can layer this really nicely. There you go. Then you put the balance of the macaroni on top. Gonna get all that cheesy goodness out of here. Spread it around. Then what you're going to do is you're going to cover it with aluminum foil. Put it in the oven at 350 in the middle rack for 30 minutes. We're going to come back when the 30 minutes has passed. No. Hey everybody, so we just finished baking this for 30 minutes. And now what we have to do is put on the balance of the cheese. So we're just going to sprinkle very evenly, or as evenly as we can. And what we're going to do after we finish sprinkling it, we're going to turn the oven on to broil. Put this mac and cheese, now here's the smoked Gouda, which is going to add a little extra bite and oomph to the mac and cheese. And like I said, we're going to put it in the top rack, we're going to put it on broil for 5 minutes and watch it really carefully because this stuff will burn if you're not careful. All right, so we're going to put it in and we'll be back. It's been on broil for about 5 minutes and you can see it's a nice brown. We're going to turn the broiler off, I hope. Cancel. And I'm going to put the phone down and pick this up. Here you go, guys. This is the finished mac and cheese. Now you got to let this set for at least 15 to 20 minutes so it kind of firms up. It came out really nicely this time, I have to say. I did not anticipate the beautiful golden hue that we got going on here. But it's really nice and it's going to taste even better. That's our mac and cheese recipe, and obviously you can alter it to your own taste depending on what you want to do. If you're interested in the actual recipe, go to the New York Times website and just type in Southern macaroni and cheese and I'm sure it will come up. Cheers everybody. Thank you for watching. Stay lifted, stay well groomed, be kind please. Cheers.